you can count on. KOAT Action 7 News at 10 starts right now.
Good evening. We're following the latest on the coronavirus in New Mexico. Right now we have 1,174 confirmed cases, with one additional death, pushing the total here to 20. It was a man in his 70s from San Juan County. Nearly 29,000 tests have been performed in the state. And happening now, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham has expanded the mass gathering ban to include houses of worship. They were previously exempt, but now no more than 5 people can gather in churches to help stop the spread of COVID-19. She says she's grateful for the support most local religious leaders have been showing. An Albuquerque nursing home is being converted into a facility exclusively for COVID-19 patients. The state says it will save lives and slow the spread of the virus. But as Action 7 News reporter Brandon Evans shows us, not everyone's happy about that decision.
Canyon Transitional Rehab Center sent out a release saying 54 residents will be discharged either to home or to another assisted living facility. And we spoke with a woman whose mom is one of those residents.
I'm very concerned.
Jennifer Showman says she hasn't seen her mom since the lockdown last month, and because her mom doesn't have a cell phone, she's only spoken to her a few times. But as hard as this has been on her, it's her mom that she's really worried about.
She definitely does not understand what's going on. I'm just going to try and reassure her that I know where she's going, that she's okay, that she's safe. Familiarity when you're mentally disoriented anyhow, familiarity is the only crutch or something that you have to hold on to.
She's worried about how her mom will adjust because she tells us her mom will first have to be in a temporary room at a new facility for 3 days.
There can be no repair to the mental damage, to the emotional and mental damage that's being done to my mom, to the other residents, and to me, and to the families.
The State Department of Health knew this was going to be tough for some. They sent out a release yesterday saying, "We want them to know their loved ones are in good hands with our colleagues of the New Mexico Aging and Long-Term Services Department, with whom we will work to assure their elders will be transitioned to COVID-19 free facilities and that their health and safety will remain a top priority." The state has not said if there are other facilities that they plan to transition to those COVID-19 only centers. Reporting, Brandon Evans, KOAT Action 7 News.
For more information on the creation of these COVID-19 only facilities, go to KOAT.com and click on this story. Uptown Genesis has updated us on the number of coronavirus cases at its facility. They now say 6 residents and 14 staff members have confirmed cases. Well, that's a big jump from the 2 residents and 6 staffers reported Thursday. They sent us this statement: "We continue to follow to the letter the direction of the New Mexico Department of Health in an effort to contain and minimize the spread of the virus." The Navajo Nation has one of the strictest curfews to contain the spread. The community is on a 57-hour curfew. It started last night at 8 o'clock and it'll run through 5 a.m. Monday. Here's a breakdown on the nation: 101 new cases. So there are now 698 confirmed cases total. 2 more people have died, bringing the number up to 24. Nearly 2,800 people have tested negative for the virus. Former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson is establishing a fund to bring emergency medical supplies to the Navajo Nation in New Mexico. He says the Navajo people are facing an unprecedented challenge with the virus. The fund will partner with Navajo organizations, clinics, and volunteers on the ground. Well, the NRA and several gun stores in New Mexico have filed a lawsuit after the governor's order shut them down. The lawsuit challenges the closure, saying they are an essential business. The NRA says the forced shutdowns are a violation of the Second Amendment. The suit says the governor is releasing criminals while taking away people's rights to self-defense. The governor says she's not picking on gun stores and that they're far from the only businesses affected. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms has signed off on a new rule that could allow gun dealers to provide a drive-up or walk-up service. They say this is in response to questions about how guns can be sold during the pandemic. The guns would still have to be purchased on the dealer's property. The FBI reported that more than 3 million background checks were filed last month as people rushed to get weapons during the health crisis. 3M, the largest manufacturer of the vital N95 face masks, has filed a lawsuit against a company in New Jersey. 3M says the distributor is price gouging, selling the masks, which should cost $1 for $6 instead, which they say will be donated to the relief effort. Performance Supply, the company they're suing, has not responded to the allegations. And a local body shop doing its part too. The lobby of Car Crafters was used as a blood bank. Yesterday, its workers let United Blood Service set up shop and invited employees to give blood. There's a blood shortage in our state, and it is critical during this pandemic. More than 30 employees donated. Car Crafters is open for business, but only for curbside service. More than 200 employees at Meow Wolf have been laid off because of the virus, and close to 60 more have been furloughed. That's according to the Santa Fe New Mexican. The company said it would provide those affected with a severance package. The company's 3 CEOs and Meow Wolf's founder are also taking a voluntary pay cut in order to fund the severance packages. Well, when the stay-at-home order started, Albuquerque Mayor Tim Keller said city leaders were concerned that it could lead to an uptick of domestic violence and crimes against done to try and close the communication gap is checking in more frequently with families.
So families, they would normally have scheduled visits once every other week or once a month. They're now calling every other day or every day, and have become really a part of their routine, a part of their schedule.
CYFD leaders say they've also been able to keep children out of danger by keeping them with other relatives if needed. A reminder for Albuquerque public school students, virtual school starts Monday. Nearly 80,000 students will be taking part. There will not be an extension on this academic school year, and students will receive pass-fail grades. For more details, go to aps.edu. And we want to keep sharing these important numbers with you. The state coronavirus hotlines. This one here, the top one, 855-600-3453. That's if you think you have the virus, you're not feeling well, you have questions, don't go to see a doctor or the hospital. Call this number first. And then that bottom number there, 833-551-0518, that is for non-health related questions. The Bernalillo County Fire Department is getting a sweet thank you during the shutdown. The Girl Scouts of New Mexico donated some of its world-famous cookies to the firefighters and dispatchers. In these photos, those making and receiving the donations were wearing recommended face masks and practicing social distancing. The online sales for cookies ends in about a week. The Girl Scouts would like to let everyone know they still have a lot of unsold product. Well, winds will be ramping up, and Chief Meteorologist Joe Diaz shows us how it will be impacting our Easter Sunday.
Yeah, first of all, it was pretty good for the first 3 quarters of the day before the winds increased and the clouds started to thicken, but we topped off at 68 degrees, right where we should be for this time of year, but change is already in the works. This is the storm system we've been watching for days. It's now starting to track over New Mexico to bring some limited showers, but boy, I tell you what, there'll be strong winds over a broad area of state. Now, already they have wind advisories in effect for gusts up to around 50 miles an hour throughout Deming, Las Cruces, on into Cloudcroft, even stronger gusts up to 60 around Carlsbad. Now, I think this will spread on into eastern parts of the state with those wind advisories, so be alert for those dangerous crosswinds coming out of the west on those north-south roads. Here in Albuquerque, we're not going to have like a wind advisory, I don't think, but the wind should be good in the morning, but picking up mid-morning on toward the noon hour, becoming kind of a nuisance, and then from 3 o'clock to the early part of the evening, gusting over 40 miles an hour. Probably want to make you stay in home most of the time once those winds start to get in those impactful levels. More about the big changes that will follow, and we're talking about dropping temperatures, rain, snow, and even freezing temperatures. We'll show you when that'll hit you in my live Super Doppler 7 forecast.
Next on 7, the latest on the coronavirus around the country. New York State reaching a possible apex, and other cities preparing for a possible surge in cases. A popular gathering in Nevada has been canceled because of the virus. Plus, a new product that's causing Americans to panic buy. We'll tell you what it is and why it's become the latest trend.
Christus St. Vincent Regional Medical Center supports all 7 counties in northern New Mexico. The Newsenda Community Rewards Program has been a fabulous partner. They are supporting our bike helmets for youth in the community, which helps prevent traumatic brain injuries in young people in northern New Mexico.
Newsenda Credit Union, the power of we. Visit newsenda.org to learn.
In northern New Mexico, the Newsenda Community Rewards Program has been a fabulous partner. They are supporting our bike helmets for youth in the community, which helps prevent traumatic brain injuries in young people in northern New Mexico.
Newsenda Credit Union, the power of we. Visit newsenda.org to learn how Community Rewards is impacting communities. Federally insured by NCUA.
My grandfather was an inspiration to me. He taught me that no matter how many times you fall, you pick yourself up again and again until you succeed. He was a proud promoter of tobacco-free rodeos. Just like being a good rider, quitting tobacco takes dedication. If you use tobacco and are ready to quit, you don't need to do it alone. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW today for free patches, gum, lozenges, and coaching.
Bradley, don't forget to take out the trash.
I'm not your trash man, Mom. And if you keep treating me like one, I may just go out and get my own car insurance just to show you who's boss.
That'd be nice, Bradley.
Or would it?
By order of Governor Lujan Grisham, everyone in New Mexico is under a stay-at-home order. Residents are required to stay at home except to get food, essentials, help a relative or friend, or get necessary health care. If you go out, practice social distancing and keep at least 6 feet from others. The stay-at-home order does not apply to individuals who work to provide essential functions, whether in the private sector, government, or in agriculture. A complete guide to the stay-at-home order can...
You're watching KOAT Action 7 News.
The United States now has the most deaths from COVID-19, but officials in New York are optimistic the state may be at or near the peak. Other states taking steps to keep their citizens safe as millions are suffering financially. Late tonight, the Kansas Supreme Court made an emergency ruling about Easter Sunday services. Here's ABC's Karina Mitchell with more.
The United States reaching a grim milestone this weekend. More than 20,000 Americans have died from COVID-19. And in New York State, the hardest hit area in the U.S., the virus has killed more than 8,600 residents. But officials say there are signs the state may have reached its apex.
That is not an all-time high, and you can see that the number is somewhat stabilizing, but it is stabilizing at an horrific rate.
Maimonides Hospital in Brooklyn has been giving ABC News a look at what it's like inside the ICU.
I've never seen anything like this. This to me is like a mass casualty event. It's like war.
The pandemic also taking a devastating toll on the economy, nearly 17 million filing for unemployment over the past 3 weeks. However, ABC News has learned the first stimulus checks started going out this weekend. And in cities across the country, long lines at food banks. Nationwide, states taking steps to keep people safe. In Michigan, Governor Gretchen Whitmer extending her stay-at-home orders, banning travel between two residences. The only exceptions taking care of sick loved ones, visiting nursing homes, or for funerals. And in Texas, Governor Greg Abbott also increasing travel restrictions to his state. A 14-day quarantine is now required for all air travelers arriving from Miami, Atlanta, Detroit, Chicago, all California, and Washington state airports. As Easter approaches, there are fears of new outbreaks as some still plan to gather to celebrate, including the pastor of this church in Brighton, Michigan, and Pastor Jesse Horton in Jackson, Mississippi.
We will more than likely have more than 10. We will be sitting spaced as they wish.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear says anyone gathering this weekend, including those at in-person church services, will be required to quarantine for 14 days. Karina Mitchell, ABC News, New York.
First, it was hand soap, sanitizer, and toilet paper. And now, after weeks of isolation, Walmart's CEO is speaking to ABC News, saying shoppers have turned their attention to hair dye now in panic buying. Walmart says since hair salons are not open, many people need haircuts and coloring services. He says hair clippers and hair dye are flying off shelves. According to research firm Nielsen, sales of hair clippers increased more than 160%, and hair coloring products also saw an increase of 23% from the same period a year ago. Even with social distancing, people have to get food, so what's the safest way to feed college students still on campus? Well, robots, it turns out. This is happening at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Delivering food could put drivers at risk, so Uber is starting to give out masks to its workers. But for now, the robots there have become the safer alternative. The organizers of Burning Man have canceled this year's event. It draws tens of thousands of people to an isolated spot in the Nevada desert without any real facilities. This year's festival was slated to start August 30th per usual and run through Labor Day. The organization is offering refunds for people who already bought tickets. It's asking for donations to help minimize layoffs and some other financial measures. According to the Burning Man website, a virtual event will replace the annual gathering this year. We'll get ready for big changes in weather. Chief Meteorologist Joe Diaz is timing out how it will affect coming days in your Super Doppler 7 forecast.
That's right. Over the past several days, we've had some pretty decent weather to get outside, but that's going to be changing dramatically over the next 48 hours. First of all, we're going to have the winds come up early tomorrow, and they're going to be stronger on your Easter Sunday. And then that's going to be followed by rain, snow, and colder temperatures. Yeah, snow. And that's going to kick in throughout parts of the state the following day on Monday. And then after this all kicks, we'll have some pretty cold mornings, and a morning freeze will be in play throughout many areas, including the Albuquerque area. So an impact day tomorrow for the wind primarily. It's going to come up like mid-morning, but by the afternoon, gusting over 40 miles an hour around Santa Fe, Albuquerque, probably up to 40, 50 mile per hour winds, southern and eastern parts of the state. Now, there will be showers developing across the western parts of the state, and then some isolated to scattered showers, thunderstorms in the afternoon around Santa Fe and Albuquerque, increasing tomorrow night on into Monday. Now, Monday, an impact day because it looks like widespread rain showers. It could be mixed in with snow at times around Albuquerque. A light accumulations of snow possible around Santa Fe, along that I-25 corridor up into the Raton area, and probably some accumulating snows from the East Mountains around Tejedas, along that I-40 corridor, and even between Gallup and probably Theroux on 40. This would be for the first part of the day. Then it's kind of just a blustery, chilly day for Tuesday, and then an impact day for freezing temperatures in the morning. Now, we're past our average last freeze here in the Albuquerque area, and we're looking for a hard freeze by Wednesday morning. So if you did any early planning, well, you might have to protect that tender vegetation as a result of that. And then once we get past Wednesday, we get into a warming trend. It'll still be breezy in the afternoon, but temperatures closer or just above where they should be for this time of year.
The coronavirus sends a chill through home sales nationwide. Our National Investigative Unit learns new ways realtors are trying to adjust.
Vibrant Caffeine Gum. A caffeine boost with empowerment pow.
Ismail? David.
Over ground zero.
You can see just home after home.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You're like a friend. You help me make it through my day. You get me up, you get me out, just what I need on my way. You're so connected to everything in town. You stick with me through thick and thin. You never let me down. No. Where I go, you go, we go. You're always there for me. Where I go, you go, we go. Where I go, you go, we go.
By order of Governor Lujan Grisham, everyone in New Mexico is under a stay-at-home order. Residents are required to stay at home except to get food, essentials, help a relative or friend, or get necessary health care. If you go out, practice social distancing and keep at least 6 feet from others. The stay-at-home order does not apply to individuals who work to provide essential functions, whether in the private sector, government, or in agriculture. A complete guide to
First newsletter on KOAT.com and get updates sent right to your inbox.
Well, the pandemic has crushed home sales across the country, and the worst may still be yet to come. Our National Investigative Unit looks into the depth of the crisis and how realtors are using new technology to cope. Mark Albert reports from Washington.
This is home selling in the age of coronavirus, a 3D virtual view of a residential property on Capitol Hill in Washington. It's a first-time use of the technology by realtor Joel Nelson. What has the coronavirus done to your business?
We began to make pretty drastic adjustments.
With no more public open houses amid the pandemic, Nelson says he spent about $3,000 to create 3D tours on his own and bought social media ads to tout the technology with links.
This is the new normal. We need to be prepared for it, so we'll be doing it for all of our listings going forward.
The new normal may turn into a spring slump. A recent National Association of Realtors survey found the drop in home buyer interest tripled in just 1 week. Lawrence Yoon is the association's chief economist.
We are seeing some home sellers who have put their homes on the market now delisting. So I think in the spring buying season is going to be very soft.
How soft? Capital Economics warns of a collapse in home sales of 50 to 60% this quarter, but not a crash in home prices due to moves by Congress and states to prevent a flood of foreclosures.
On the outside, this is an 1890s brownstone.
It's causing realtors like Joel Nelson to match unique turmoil with new tools and expectations.
About half of our buyer clients have taken a pause, maybe more like two-thirds.
Economists are hoping for a rebound in the second half of the year. I'm Chief National Investigative Correspondent Mark Albert.
And since there's no cure or vaccine for the coronavirus, the FDA wants people to stay away from so-called miracle cures that are really just toxic chemicals. They say a church in Texas has been promoting one of those fake cures. On its website, it looks like it's advocating for a miracle mineral solution as a cure for the coronavirus. Well, it's actually chlorine dioxide, which is used as an industrial cleaner for swimming pools. It can damage the liver, the kidneys, and the heart, even cause death. The FDA says the church has 24 hours to stop doing this and remove it from the church's site. Virtual Passover Seders and streaming Holy Week Masses are just a few of the ways the faithful are practicing their religion during this time of social distancing. But some communities are defying orders to stay at home and avoid large gatherings. Here's ABC's Rachel Scott.
At a time when many are turning to their faith for comfort, churches, synagogues, and mosques are empty.
A virus doesn't care what your religion is. Pain and suffering is the great unifier. Sometimes when pain comes, it causes people to turn to God, and it causes other people to turn away from God.
The streets of Jerusalem, holy to all three major religions, empty. Many now finding creative ways to worship. Passover Seders being held virtually, and Holy Week services are being live-streamed. New Orleans Archbishop Gregory Amen and Rabbi Alexis Erdheim flying separately over the city, asking for God's blessing. This pastor in Ohio printing photos of his parishioners.
It was an amazingly prayerful moment to be in a quiet chapel kind of in the dark. And every time I put a picture up, I could remember the people who I was praying for and think about them.
Earlier this week, Vice President Mike Pence said he will attend the virtual Easter services of his Indiana church from his living room. In Arizona, Pastor Nathan Bentley had planned to host Easter services outside, providing masks and limiting participation, but those plans canceled after many feared it was a disaster waiting to happen.
I want the community to know that I'm truly sorry to cause fear. That was never my intent. We want the safety of our neighbors. We want the best for our neighbors. And so I humbly apologize.
But communities are defined social distancing guidelines. The Supreme Court in Kansas hearing arguments to determine whether congregations can gather with more than 10 people.
With a shockingly irresponsible decision that will put every Kansas life at risk.
Overseas, Pope Francis celebrating Easter Vigil Mass in an empty St. Peter's Basilica. And in Germany, drive-in theaters are making a comeback. Cathedrals of cars. Rachel Scott, ABC News, Washington.
And tomorrow on Easter Sunday, there's a service you can watch right here on KOAT. The Awakening airs tomorrow at noon. It's a service produced by the Interfaith Broadcasting Commission. The services were recorded before the pandemic. A Florida nursery gave away 5,000 Easter lilies in just an hour Saturday. Loop's Nursery in Jacksonville says it had the extra flowers because so many in-person church services are canceled this year. For many Christians, white lilies are used at Easter, symbolizing Jesus' resurrection. The nursery worked with a local TV station to set up a drive-thru, maintaining social distancing. Workers gave away the overstocked flowers to people who just wanted them. It took an hour, that's it, to give away thousands of those flowers. Next on 7, the Netflix docuseries Tiger King has become an instant talker, and it seems it's not over. We'll have the scoop right after the break. By order of Governor Lujan Grisham, everyone in New Mexico is under a stay-at-home order. Residents are required to stay at home except to get food, essentials, help a relative or friend, or get necessary health care. If you go out, practice social distancing and keep at least 6 feet from others. The stay-at-home order does not apply to individuals who work to provide essential functions, whether in the private sector, government, or in agriculture. A complete guide to the stay-at-home order can be reviewed at KOA 6 feet from others. The stay-at-home order does not apply to individuals who work to provide essential functions, whether in the private sector, government, or in agriculture. A complete guide to the stay-at-home order can be reviewed at KOAT.com or on the KOAT News app.
Ismael, David.
Ground zero. You can see just home after home.
Thank you.
Justice, New Mexico. A lineup built to binge. With the last 24 at 6.
We got a homicide application.
Southern Fried Homicide at 7.
This case is about cash, sin,
and Trace of Evil at 8.
I think just the nature of the attack was terrifying.
Plus, KOAT Action 7 News at 9. It's TV binging.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cooked my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents took me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Left who hasn't watched this show. I guess I need to catch up because more Tiger King is on the way. Apparently, Netflix is bringing back its widely talked about docuseries for one more episode with special host comedian Joe McHale. The 8th episode of the show, titled The Tiger King and I, will start streaming tomorrow. The after-show-style episode will include interviews with nearly all the main people in the series. Well, Hollywood is betting a high-stakes game can help people struggling during this pandemic. Actor Ben Affleck announced he and other celebrities are participating in a charity poker tournament next Saturday. The players include Matt Damon, Adam Sandler, Sarah Silverman, Adam Levine, and quarterback Tom Brady. The stars are teaming up with Feeding America for All In for Feeding America online poker tournament. 100% of the proceeds will go to the nonprofit to help fight hunger. Affleck says so that far they've already raised more than $1 million. Well, a legendary singer-songwriter admitted he's recovering from the coronavirus. Kenneth Babyface Edmonds revealed on Instagram that he and his family had previously tested positive for COVID-19. The 61-year-old first thanked fans for their birthday wishes in a note. He then opened up about his diagnosis, calling it incredibly scary. Edmonds says he and his family has since been retested and no longer have the virus. The 11-time Grammy winner did not say who in his family had contracted the disease first. Time now for a check with Joe of your Easter morning forecast.
Yes, Easter morning, man. This will be in the 30s and 40s. There'll be a lot of online services streaming. The clouds will be thickening across the four corners on into the western part of the state. Now, quickly, probably mid to late morning, those winds are going to be coming up, and eventually going to go 40 miles an hour around Albuquerque and Santa Fe, stronger to the east and south. Notice the showers starting from the western part of the state and then working in a very isolated basis late in the afternoon throughout Santa Fe, Albuquerque, on into eastern parts of the state. As we get into the evening, I think this will be ramping up and really ramping up the following day on Monday. Another impact day for us because we're looking for rain likely, perhaps maybe some snow at times around Albuquerque, but snow to the east, snow to the north, a lot of accumulations in the Santa Fe area, and a rain-snow mix out west as well. This is going to be followed by dropping temperatures, so stay tuned for that.
All right, well, happy Easter. Thanks for watching. Good night. By order of Governor Lujan Grisham, everyone in New Mexico is under a stay-at-home order. Residents are required to stay at home except to get food, essentials, help a relative or friend, or get necessary health care. If you go out, practice social distancing and keep at least 6 feet from others. The stay-at-home order does not apply to individuals who work to provide essential functions, whether in the private sector, government, or in agriculture. A complete guide to the stay-at-home order can be reviewed at KOAT.com or on the KOAT News app. All right, well, happy Easter. Thanks for watching. Good night. By order of Governor Lujan Grisham, everyone in New Mexico is under a stay-at-home order. Residents are required to stay at home except to get food, essentials, help a relative or friend, or get necessary health care. If you go out, practice social distancing and keep at least